everybody. Thank you for joining us here today. This is Sauerkraut from the Coffee with Sauerkraut show. Drinking out of a dollar store mug today. You probably saw that at the bottom of the cup. And I have a special guest on today. His name is Barry. Barry, how's it going?
Oh, no complaints. How about yourself?
Very good, very good. I see a sidewalk plow beside you or behind you. That's actually pretty funny. Barry is coming from an undisclosed location in his car. Is that the Shania Twain museum behind you? Is that what I see?
No, we're Cochrane. This is hometown of Tim Horton.
Oh, there you
Shania
go.
Twain's an hour away.
Yeah, she's in Kirkland Lake, right? Not too far away, but Timmins. There you go. Yeah. But the Hall of Fame for her was in Kirkland Lake, if I'm not mistaken. But anyways, who cares?
Your guess is as good as mine.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So we brought you on today. Barry, I know you from childhood. We were friends. My best friend actually, and twin brother Meatballs. You might know him. He was actually your stepbrother, correct?
Yes.
All right. And when I first met you, Barry, how old would you say you were?
Oh, geez. 11 or 12?
Yeah, the first time that I actually came around there. Because I moved to Niagara Falls when you were about that age. Before that, I was out in Niagara on the Lake, and, Meatballs and I just kind of knew each other from our families, and we were at family meetings and stuff, but it was the other side of the family, not his dad's side, his mom's side, that Meatballs and I knew each other from. So I didn't really meet you much until Meatballs moved in with his dad, which is what we're going to talk to you a little bit about. So when I met you, 11 years old, you were bound to a wheelchair.
Yep. Right? Quite a while, actually.
Yeah. How many years did you spend in a wheelchair?
I would say off and on from age 5 to probably 17.
Yeah. So explain why you had to be in a wheelchair.
Well, I was born with a genetic disorder called Osteogenesis imperfecta. What that essentially does is it makes the outer shell of the bone not calcify properly, which then makes me more prone to breaking bones. And it seemed like the optimal break for me was the legs. So it spent a lot of time recovering, and just as soon as you get back on your feet with a bone disease like that, you break again, kind of thing.
Right. Yeah. So it's kind of like well, for layman's terms, it's called Brittle Bones Disease. For layman's, is that correct?
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, that's kind of what I grew up, because the osteo, whatever the hell you said there, is kind of too hard to say, right? So, and you know about it because you've been dealing with it for many, many years, right?
Yeah, essentially, I was just very breakable.
Yes, fragile. And as we know, kids usually are very resilient. They go out, they play, they hurt themselves, but they get back up. But unfortunately for you, just going out even to play, because I remember one time you went out to play soccer, and just playing soccer, I remember you ended up breaking both of your legs again, type thing, just after you just were getting back to walking, right? So it was a constant struggle for you being in the wheelchair. And how did that affect you in school?
I was lucky. I've had some pretty good friends all the way along. I mean, it wasn't great, obviously. Being a young man, you're more prone to wanting to be athletic, competitive, especially in the times where we grew up. You know what I mean? Like
right.
Hockey, soccer, baseball, skateboarding,
yeah.
all of that was, like the so I had to find my own ways, but luckily I had some pretty awesome people being able to do stuff.
Yeah. You froze up a little bit there. But
Oh,
that's not,
sorry.
yeah, it's not your fault. It's your internet connection. It's the cell phone, obviously, right? But
Yeah.
so don't worry too much about it. If it happens, it happens. But I'm not sure if it will show up on the video. We might have to edit that out. But you did have some good friends that helped you along the way.
Yep.
And you went to the same high school as Meatballs for a little bit, anyways, and then he switched high schools and went to the public system. You were in a Catholic high school. Now, I want to get into, because this disease that you have,
Yeah.
um, is it hereditary, or was it
Yeah.
hereditary? Um, so you had an older brother, correct?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, and your older brother passed away from complications due to this same disease, correct? Oh, I lost you.
No. His organs started shutting down, but he did have the bone disease. He
Okay.
actually had it a more severe case than I did. So
Okay. So, and that's where I was getting at. So, sorry, you said it was because of his organs shutting down. So it was
it was an
uh,
illness. It,
yeah,
it, it wasn't the bone disease that essentially caused that. It was just unknown illness that just happened to hit a little bit harder.
right, right. Which is very, very unfortunate, and it's got to be difficult for you. How old was he when he had passed?
8 years old.
Right, and you were relatively young at that point, correct?
6. Yeah.
6. Okay, so you were old enough to understand,
Oh
but still at the same time, kind of at that age that you didn't totally understand. You kind of knew that he was gone, and maybe that he wasn't coming back, but it takes a little bit for everybody to understand that, and to find out at that age that kids are not mortal either, like that kids can die too, rather, is something that's a life lesson that you had to learn early, right? So now with this disease that you have, so you've been doing treatment for it for years, right?
Yeah. The treatment stopped at 18.
Okay.
Uh, there was an option to keep it going, but at that time, they felt that I was so far ahead of what normally would happen
Okay.
that they didn't feel the need to pursue it because I had stopped growing. That seems to be the worst time for the bone disease. As the bones stretch and you get taller. I mean, I didn't really get tall, but as you grow, they tend to be a little more fragile because of the calcium amounts that need to be pushed in.
Yeah.
So, what the treatment did was it helped calcify my bones through an IV treatment, and it
Okay.
basically takes calcium out of the bloodstream, puts it into the bones directly, and I got up to a bone density of the range of normal for someone my age,
Okay. Okay.
which is bone disease. So they just they said continue to monitor it. If I have any more problems, contact them. And then instead of going to the children's hospital, which I was going to, they
Right.
would just switch me over to a general hospital and continue on.
Okay. Fair enough. Yeah, because you had spent a lot of time at the children's hospital. I remember that too, in both Toronto and Montreal. Is that correct? Or Quebec, anyways, right?
No, it was Montreal. Toronto was a treatment facility. It
Okay.
was kind of an experiment that didn't quite turn out well. Um, and that was more for rehab and physiotherapy, where I pretty much lived in Toronto inside a dorm. And it was treatments daily, physio, and whatnot. The actual treatment that happened to work was done in Montreal.
Okay. Yeah. So the doctors in Montreal figured out something that would work, and because yeah, I remember you being Toronto for a while, and that when you came back, that I knew that the treatment didn't work. But I thought that after you were in Quebec for a while, and then you went back, and they finished with you in Toronto. But fair enough. Either way, you spent quite a while in Quebec.
Yep.
I remember that, and just when you came back, well, while you were there, you had an accident in Quebec too. If I wasn't
No,
mistaken.
that was Toronto.
Oh, that was Toronto. Okay.
Yeah. That's the one that didn't end well.
Yes, yeah. Because I remember, when you came back, you were back in a wheelchair, and I was like, "What the heck?" Like you didn't think that it
I
would be
never
that
quite
bad.
made it out while I was in Toronto. I had an accident, broke a leg, broke my elbow, and we pretty much said enough was enough with that place. It was it wasn't all that was sold to us when the doctors were pushing for it. And I mean, there was no real way of them to know that, but it was kind of like a last Hail Mary. We didn't know what else to try. The doctors here, or in Niagara at the time, they gave such excellent care, but there was only so much that they could do, right?
Yeah, well, and that's the knowledge base for this, because even though you have this disease, it's not super common. And both you and your brother had it. It's probably very odd that it happens, but that now lets you know that obviously it was genetic, right? So I don't know. And again, I'm not a doctor. I'm not qualified to say this or not, but you might know this. If you were to have children, would you pass that on to those children as well?
I have a 50% chance.
50% chance, which is not a good chance at all.
No, and there's a higher chance that they would have it worse than I did. There's some really extreme cases out there of dwarfism, so extreme that the kids can't sneeze without breaking ribs.
Right.
Their parents aren't able to hug them because they will literally break them if they try.
Right.
So that's not a risk I've ever been willing to, throw out into the universe. I would rather not.
No, and it's unfortunate that I mean, if it's something that you wanted to do and have kids and stuff like that, obviously you got to take that into consideration, and it weighs down on you, right? So 50% chance of it happening. Now, I mean, and when you say dwarfism, because you didn't grow very much because of this this disease that you had, kind of stunted your growth, but you're not like the typical dwarfs, like Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. No, I'm just kidding. But the typical, like your hands are normal proportions. I remember.
No, I hit 5'3", thankfully.
Yeah. So and that's what I for the most part, like when you think of dwarfs, you're thinking of people with like small hands and unproportionate stuff like that. But no, because you were growing to a certain point at a normal rate, and then once the disease progressed, obviously that kind of stopped it from, and a lot of it being with not being able to be active and sitting in a wheelchair for a majority of your life, your body adapts to that too, right? So. So yeah. Now, recently I've seen posts of you on Facebook of you going to the gym. Obviously not in the last little bit, because I know that you guys are in lockdown just like us. So and it's kind of crazy out there. But I had seen some pictures of you going to the gym, and I seen some videos of you posting doing leg curls and stuff like that. And for most people to see stuff like that, it'd be like, okay, whatever, this guy's doing leg curls and this guy's doing bench pressing and stuff like that, big deal, right? But I was watching and I was like, oh my god, that's Barry doing 20 sets right there. Like that's amazing. I never thought that he'd be able to have full function of your legs because of, like I said, where you were. I knew that you could walk now, and but that you would have some difficulties now. And because of the whole, I mean, using the wheelchair, stuff like that, your upper body is bigger than your lower body. But so seeing you work out was actually something that I thought, hey, I thought I'd never see that, and he did an amazing job. So why don't you tell us why you started doing the workouts?
Even when I was in Niagara Falls, I was fairly into it.
Yeah.
Obviously, again, had to do my own version of it back then.
Right.
But I took weightlifting at St. Mike's with Mr. Scott Safava,
Yeah.
and I loved it. It was something athletic that I could do fairly normal. You know what I mean?
Right. Right.
Um, and then I got into it here and there while I was living up here. I did some other training as well, and then I started coming back to the gym in town and just started really loving it. And the idea was always to get somewhere with it. And then I went back to school, um, decided that the fitness was kind of something that I wanted to pursue.
Right. Right.
And yeah, I just kind of fell in love with it. This is like the only thing that I've never had to really modify much. And at this point, there really isn't very much inside the gym that I can't do,
Right. Right.
just like anybody else. So I guess part of it would be it makes you feel a little bit normal after most of your life not feeling quite so normal.
No, yeah, for sure, and it looks like the gym that you go to, that the guys there are pretty supportive of you and help you out, stuff like that.
I got some of the best people around me. I swear to you when I tell you that these guys could make you believe that you could move a mountain with your bare hands.
Well, there you go. Nice, nice.
Yeah.
Now, the next thing that I'm going to ask you though is, so I heard you're entering into a competition coming November, pending everything being
Yeah.
cleared up, or that they're going to be able to do it if we're not in lockdown. But I heard that you're coming to the Hamilton area.
Yeah. It's
in
at
November.
the McIntyre Arts and Show Coliseum or something like that.
Okay. Yeah.
It's the performing arts arena in Hamilton,
Right. Right.
and it'll be a physique competition.
A physique competition. So,
Yes, sir.
and you're entering the non-juiced portion, correct?
Yeah, it's all naturals. We will be drug tested. Um, I wanted a different division. I wanted it to go by height and weight,
Okay. Yes.
just to make things a little bit more even, seeing as I'm 5'3"
Yes.
and about 150 pounds. Like me going up against just about everybody is a little bit of a disadvantage, but they're not offering that. So I said, the hell with it. Let's go open and let's just make a run for it.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know, at the end of the day, though, I think that they're going to have to take some sort of look at the way that this thing is done, because again, with somebody being able-bodied, obviously, and if they're going by age group instead, obviously they have a huge advantage over you. Not that you're not able-bodied now, it's again, but for years you've been the muscles, they get atrophy, right? They're not growing properly if you're not using them as much as you can, right? So as I mentioned, your lower limbs, just from me knowing you, are significantly smaller than your upper body. You can see that there's definitely, your muscles hadn't been as defined or growing as much, right? So but that's definitely something. So you're going into this competition. It's essentially bodybuilding physique contest. And is everybody from your gym going there, or are you just going there?
It's just me competing
Okay.
as of now. I'm trying to talk my other buddy into it. I think he would do very well, but he's gonna suffer with me through the preparations.
Right.
With the nice thing with physique is we're wearing board shorts, so lower body isn't really taken as much into account as a traditional bodybuilding competition.
Okay. Yeah.
That's kind of why I aim
Chose that.
more towards that. But I got a ton of support from everybody up here. We're gonna live stream it if at all possible.
Oh, well, you know what? We have actually experience with that. We have live streaming on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter. We live stream everywhere. So, yeah, we'll be able to follow you with that and actually live stream it for you. Help you out with
That would
that.
be awesome.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
would be awesome. And we got, like I said, pretty huge following, and we'll get people to supporting you. Have you made like a web page or anything like that for donations and stuff? Because let's face it, this stuff's not cheap, and you live in Cochrane, Ontario, which is 8 hours from Hamilton, so it's a
yep.
little bit of a drive down there for you. You're not going to be flying down, you're going to be driving down, probably staying in a hotel. You don't want to stay downtown Hamilton on a hotel, by the way.
Well, I haven't yet. I'm gonna be launching like a little video series all the way along the prep as soon as I'm allowed back in the gym.
Yeah,
Um, I'm gonna put up a couple different videos, reasons why, all that kind of stuff. I'm gonna launch like a full like Facebook group, YouTube page, all of the above.
right,
Sponsors and donations would be amazing,
right.
but this was more or less something that I felt like I need to do for
Right.
me.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm doing it regardless. You know
Yeah,
what I
no, for
mean? Like,
sure. Well, what we'll do is, I mean, Access Radio, we can probably put something together to help sponsor you, not just financially, but we're going to obviously promote you and stuff like that, promote your journey and stuff.
greatly
So
appreciate it.
tag us, and when you do get the Facebook page set up, tag us. We'll get somewhere where a shirt or something where you could put our logo up, and while you're training or something like that, and there you go. We're helping you, you're helping us. I see you have the shirt on. What's the shirt say?
Underdog Fitness.
Underdog Fitness. Now, is that your brand?
Yeah, it's definitely me.
Yeah, and that's the thing, right? So because I had made a comment about something when we were talking about setting up this interview, and I said, yeah, you always got to go for the underdog, right? And then you said, hey, that's actually the name of my fitness apparel, right? So
Yep.
which is actually pretty cool. The underdog is always the guy that we root for. We started this out as underdogs. Nobody knew who we were. We had to come into the industry starting fresh and build our way up, and we're where we're at today. And we want to help everybody out as much as possible. But how has the pandemic prevented you from getting to your goals?
The first lockdown that we had back in March that lasted like 5 months. That one
Yeah.
was a little bit rough because I was making really good progress.
Right.
My legs were up like 3.5 inches of
Oh, wow.
muscle mass
Yeah.
since I had started back at the gym. Uh, I was reaching strength goals that I shouldn't have been ever able to reach,
Right.
and I was really hitting my stride, and I wanted to compete in 2020. That was the initial goal, and then that pandemic hit and kind of fell into a little bit of a slump. I was somewhat active, but it was really easy to make excuses not to do
Exactly.
anything.
Yeah. No, and
This time
that's the big
around,
thing, right?
I had yeah, this time around when we got word of the lockdown, a gym buddy of mine, he has some weights at home and whatnot, and he dropped me off a set of weights. I bought another set of dumbbells, and I'm really just working on conditioning right now,
Yeah. Yeah.
lowering the body fat percentage, seeing where the imbalances lie, what I need to fix when I can get back into the gym, and doing as much like small weighted workouts as I can just to maintain.
Right.
And then I have a good 10 months before I have to really worry about where I'm at. So I'm just going to keep going with this, play it by ear. We were only supposed to get 14 days because we're
Right.
Northern Ontario.
Right.
I'm hoping that's the case. If that's the case, we'll be open on the
The
9th.
11th or something like that. Yeah, somewhere around there. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm just waiting to hear about that, and if it looks like we're getting extended, I'll have to go search for some
I
more weights and
I think it hasn't been announced yet, but I think we'll hear about that today or tomorrow. And once this airs, this might be old news, anyways. But I think they're going to extend it out there because down here, if you've seen, those numbers are just going crazy. And
yeah.
unfortunately, if they opened up the north, don't get me wrong, not everybody's going to flood to Cochrane, Ontario. I'm sure you guys are pretty
We've
safe
had
out
our
there.
fair share.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
But that's their biggest concern because that's what happened here too. Is we had all these people coming from Toronto and stuff like that. We had people come. There was license plates from Quebec that we could,
yeah,
numbers that we could count on multiple hands. You know what I mean? We had
yeah.
Florida license plates. We have Pennsylvania license plates, New York license plates. So even though people are saying the border's closed, it's really not, to tell you the truth. You just have to say that it's essential and that you are going to self-isolate. That's the only thing. Every once in a while they check up on you. If you're not there, then they look for you. But other than that, it's really super easy to get across, and it's kind of a joke, to
Yeah.
tell you the truth. So
Well, we
um,
got snowmobile trails, so that's been our biggest thing. We've had
yeah,
people
yeah, true.
traveling even during this lockdown, coming to our hotels, they're snowmobiling, which, to each their own. I just kind of worry about me living my own little bubble.
Yeah.
But it would be nice that if, someone could go on vacation, that maybe I could go to a gym.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Well, that's like usually what I do is I go to um, up to Elliott Lake, for example, which is kind of, it's north, but it's not, it's the opposite side. So to get to you, we have to go down to Highway 11.
Yep.
To get to Elliott Lake, we got to go down Highway 17. So it kind of splits off the opposite way. It's yeah, still north, still
Yep.
6.5 hours north of where I live, anyways. With when I catch a good wind, but I go there to do snowmobiling and the ice fishing and all that
Yep.
fun stuff. So I could see, especially now this time of year, I was thinking originally, well, people from Toronto might not be so much into that, but again, somebody with money might be into
No,
that.
it's one of our main tourist attractions is our snowmobile trails here,
Right, right, yeah.
and
And
they fill
the
up every
igloo
year.
motel you have there.
I yeah, I think that's still going.
Yeah. It's not actually igloos, for people that are wondering. It's like made to look like igloos, but it's not actually made of snow, just for people that are thinking about going there, thinking it'll be cool. The ice palace is in Quebec. You want to go there instead. But
There we go.
leave Cochrane alone. We don't need to get it bad there. But yeah, no, the cases went up to like 3,200 new cases yesterday, type thing. So it was like
Oh,
it's
shit, eh? I
get
think
it.
we're 10 active in our entire region, but
Okay.
our region is pretty big.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
like, 10 active,
yeah, it's pretty small.
you know,
Yeah. But
yeah.
again, we started out with numbers with like 10 active, and now we have like 200, 300, 400, something like that. I can't even tell you anymore. I stopped listening because it's getting to the point where it's I can either listen to the COVID news or I can listen to the election news, but there isn't anything else out there. It's the only thing people are talking
I
about.
shut them both out and I just kind of live in my own little bubble, man.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But that's what I was thinking. It's got to be difficult for you to keep motivated, and that's as you mentioned, it's easy to make excuses, and that's why I kind of wanted to bring you on the show, because even though I'm going to tell you, like, I lost a lot of weight, and because I was up to like a ridiculous amount. If you probably seen pictures of me on Meatball's roof, and we're like, what the hell? Like, this guy let himself go. But I lost a lot of weight, and I still made excuses on everything while I was going through like getting my weight down and stuff like that. I was going to say transitioning, but I didn't do that. Just the weight wise, I did, but not the other thing. I just got to clarify that. But anyways, so during my journey, I was making excuses, but here's somebody who has, like, you have every excuse in the world not to do this, and you're still doing it, right? So, and hats off to you. You know, anybody who's thinking, you know, it's too hard or this, that, the other thing, you need to take a look in the mirror and just be like, hey, listen, if Barry can do it, you know, I can do it. And you're very active in the community out there. From the posts that I read, you help out quite a few people. You did a couple draws. I don't know if it was this Christmas, but last Christmas for sure. I know that you had a couple families in need, where you got them. Was it a Nintendo Switch that you got them, or something along those lines, right?
It was one of the all-in-one Sega 85
oh yes, that's what it was.
reloaded things. We raffled that off, and then we gave all the money in gift cards to families that needed it.
Right.
And then the person who won the Sega actually gave it to the family as well.
Okay. Good,
so
good.
we were able to give the family, because they had a bunch of little kids, we were able to give them the gaming system after someone else had won it,
Right.
on top of the gift cards.
Which is awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah. So you do stuff like that. You also, I saw like a pie eating contest or something like that you did down there for charity.
That's Carnival. That was pancake waffle. I did so bad because the pancake waffle up here usually every February. This year pending, but they have like chicken wing eating contests, stuff like that.
Yeah.
It helps raise money for different organizations around town. So
yeah, cool. All right. Well, is there anything else that you want to talk about before we head out here? I don't want to keep you too long. I know you're busy and that you need to get back to home. You kind of took off out of home and risking. I see the police lights behind you. Just kidding. There's no police lights behind you.
Cool.
No, there's none there.
It's a shame. Now I'm kind of disappointed.
Yeah.
I've been bored.
That would make for some interesting conversations, right? Yeah, but is there anything you want to talk about before we go?
We're good on everything. When I get everything up and running, YouTube-wise, Facebook-wise, I kind of wanted to wait for some actual content from the gym before I launch anything. So as soon as I'm back in there, I'll post a link. We can get all that going. And I just appreciate the time and the exposure, man. Thank you.
Hey, no problem. Thank you very much, Barry, for joining us. By the way, if you are watching on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe down below. Hit that bell notification. If it's red, turn everything gray. Want to make sure that that everything is perfect with that. And then, you know, when Barry gets his YouTube channel, we'll put a link in our description down below, and you can like his Facebook channel as well, or YouTube channel, Facebook, whatever. It is what
it's all going up. It's all
yeah. He's thinking of live streaming everything too, so which would be cool. We can help him out with that too. I've got some stream keys and stuff that I've got some experience with that stuff, so definitely something we should help you with. You got like a merch store or anything like that you're planning on doing?
We're thinking about doing an Underdog fitness prep series.
Okay.
But I have to wait for everything to open up to go drop the idea on the poor company that does all this for me.
Right.
Because they're going to get swamped.
Right. Yes. Yeah. True. So, yeah. So
I want to give
all
them
that
a heads
happens,
up first and talk it.
Yeah, talk it over with them. Make sure that they can handle the demand and whatnot. So we'll stay in touch and we'll help you with all that stuff as we go, and keep us in touch about your progress and let us know. And you know, we'll probably have you on the show again before your competition. And you know, we'll have you on maybe after the competition too, so you can talk about all the juice heads that you just kidding. They're not all juice heads. But yeah, that's what's that?
Said drug test.
Oh yes, with the quotations. That's one of my favorite things. Is the air quotes. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you very, very much for taking the time out and joining us today. Tell us a little bit about your history, your story. I know that it's difficult sometimes to talk about that, but we do appreciate it. And truly, guys, whenever you get a chance, go for the underdog. Always make sure that the underdog is the person that you're rooting for. Thank you very much, and we'll see you guys later.